Hey, what you gonna do when your name get called? You gonna be scared? Or no? No fear. It's game time, yeah. Hey, ready, set, go, yes, game time, yeah. Ready, set, go, yes, game time, yeah.
We build on three. 1, 2, 3.
We build.
Welcome back. This is to the Coach's Circle, Coach Dee Briggs, We Build Hoops Factory. Got my guys with me. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Devon Coles Trading Academy.
What's up, Davis Graham, the Detail Academy.
Let's get right into it.
We probably had like a 15, 20-minute heated discussion prior to this. We're going to hop into it. But before that, just know if you haven't seen on our Instagram page, we're giving away a scholarship to a male or female athlete that has a passion for the game, that's looking to better enhance themselves, and has the work ethic to go along with it. We're calling it the 724 Scholarship in memory of my grandmother, Betty Boggs, who passed away in January. So, please, if you haven't already, find us on Instagram or Facebook, tag a player, and DM us a video indicating why that player is deserving of this scholarship. All right.
And before you
yes,
keep
sir.
going, you got to jump on that. This is my guy, one of the best trainers in the area. You're missing out if you ain't jumping in and just putting your name in the hat at least. So definitely get on that.
Appreciate it.
100%.
We hopping into it though. How much credit should trainers get for a player's development?
You want to hit it first? Or you want me to keep going here?
Alright, so that's a loaded question. But when does the trainer start working with the player, and what is the player's skill set like when they start with them? Because that's a big part of it.
Okay.
So because that's a big part of it, right?
Let's talk about these NBA guys. Let's talk about some of these NBA guys.
If I get an NBA guy that comes to me now, right, and I train him, and he makes a 5 to 10 point per game average in the next year or so, that's somewhat of a credit to me. But at the same time, it's so much. I say it's a loaded question because it's so much of the system you're in, the opportunities you get, what I teach you, if you can apply it, the minutes you're getting to even showcase that, right? And to even get to the league, you have to be, superior talented. So again, if I get an NBA guy, I'm along for the ride, but he's already done the job. Maintaining it is the heavy part. But if I get an NBA guy and I work with them and I show them a few things or make them a little bit more efficient, and again I polish it up a little bit, that's somewhat of a credit to me. But I'm gonna say at that level, it's maybe 80-20, 90-10 of credit to them. So 20%, 10% trainer, 90% NBA player. Now, if I get a guy maybe at the age of 10 years old and they get there, then it's a little different. Then maybe we're looking at 60-40 or 50-50, all depending on what their skill set is when you first meet them. So, for example, we were talking about the Myers Leonard thing, right? I'll go into that.
So I mean, to me, I think a trainer's job is truly just to get these guys on the right path and make sure that they're taking the next steps that they need to take, right? And that's not necessarily like, when you go to college or when you go to X, Y, and Z, you need to be able to have these skills, so we're gonna start working on them. It's like, nah, it's what is gonna help me tomorrow? Like, what is gonna help me tomorrow that I can also apply tomorrow, right? Like, as a trainer, how can I not only teach a skill, but have you master a skill, right? Like, my job isn't for me to teach you something, it's for me to teach you how to do it perfectly every single time. Because if you can do it perfect every single time, now you can see the same reads. You can have consistency into those reads, right? Like, the same footwork into my jump shot will create a better jump shot overall. It'll increase my percentage. The same footwork, right? Let's say I land in a staggered stance. I got all kinds of reads out of that. So if I'm on balance and I got a great, perfect staggered stance, everything out of that is going to be that much better, right? So for me, I think, like you brought up Myers Leonard, people like that. We were talking about Drew Hanlon and how much he's developed guys. I think this guy gets a ton of credit. and he should get.
Percentage, how much percentage?
But like at the end of the day, it's not just him and Myers Leonard. It's
that's
like
why I said
so
it's
to me it's like how much percent does Jason Tatum get for the Celtics being as good as they are? Right? Like it's a team. You know what I mean? So if I'm a trainer, I'm not the only guy working with it, right? And I don't want to be dumb enough to think that like I'm the only guy that's in the gym with this guy, right? So because that's naive, right? Just straight up.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in the gym alone. He's gonna be in there with his dad. He might be in there with D. He might be in there with his coach, right? So my thing is, what is the team doing? What kind of situation is this player going to be in, right? How can I strengthen their skill set out of those situations? Because that's going to be the short term. This is exactly how I can get this guy better right now. Can I apply that into games, right? Because now if I, as a trainer, can make sure that you're confident in your skill set going into a game, and you can do it in a game, and I know you can do it in a game because I've seen you do it in game settings consistently.
Yeah.
Now I feel confident in your short term growth, right? So to me, it's like it's going up the stairs, right? You can see the top of the staircase, but you got to take every step going up.
Absolutely.
So those short term goals are every single step getting up the staircase. So if I'm sitting here training, like I was just training a cross step the other day, right? A cross step, just to change the direction, stop on the inside leg when you're driving. I spent a whole hour on the cross step. That was it. That was all I did, right? Because he wasn't getting it. And once he finished, he got the cross step.
Right.
Now, did we do it in game situations? No. So he's not ready to do it in a game. And I don't think he's going to be able to apply it. But we did it 1-on-0, right? So next step might be 1-on-1. Maybe I throw my defense at him, see if he can get a cross step in, right? So now can you cross step into our reads? Now can you cross step into a jump shot, cross step into a drive, cross step into a crossover drive, right? Now, those are game situations. Now can I do that in a 3-on-3 set, right? Now I got help defenders, right? I beat this guy, now I see, all right, this is when I can use that, right? Now I've physically, as a trainer, been able to say, yo, this player can do this move. Because I've seen it not only in 1-on-0, I've seen it slow, I've seen him do it fast, I've seen him do it comfortably, right? Now they've perfected it, quote unquote, right? Throughout the process of getting into that 3-on-3.
Okay.
Right? That's my end goal, is to get every guy into a 2-on-2, 3-on-3 at a high level live. Right? Like, how can I do this well with defenders and help? Right? So if I can, right, as a trainer, right, so to go back to your question, because of, for y'all that don't know, I've been doing this mentorship program with Drew Hanlon over the last 9 to 10 months. It's been crazy, it's been life-changing. He really dives into his process and things like that. So to answer your question, right, I think that his work with Myers Leonard has been substantial because it's completely changed the way that we view Myers Leonard. If we talk about 2 to 3 years ago, we're not even talking about Myers Leonard. We're not even talking about him, right? Because he's a role player, and he's doing what? He's a 4-man that really can't shoot the 3, but he can kind of hit shots, right, sometimes. Anybody can hit shots, right? So if you're not a shooter, you shouldn't be shooting 3s in the NBA, right? So as a guy that couldn't really shoot, wasn't really getting a lot of points, wasn't really getting a lot of tick, wasn't on a big-time team, to now where he is today.
He's still in Portland, right?
He was in Portland, right? He just signed. He signed with the Heat, right? Now
He
he's
was in Portland too, though. He was in Portland.
and that's about the same time they started working together, right? So, I mean, if you look at the percentages through the years, like that, he's gotten results. So now it comes back to like, how much of that was Drew Hanlon compared to Myers Leonard, right? Myers Leonard got to get the reps in, right? But Drew Hanlon got the direction, not from Drew Hanlon. He didn't just sit there and watch him film and be like, you know what, I think he can shoot better probably, right? He's with the team. He's got to go talk to the team, right? So he's the trainer. He's only one guy in the gym. He's got to go talk to the coach. This is the direction we want to work in? All right, cool. Okay. Now we got to go home. Okay, when he's not working with me, these are the trainers he works out with at home. All right, cool. Let's build on this. You guys are working on this. I'm going to work on that. The team works on this. Now we got a whole plan, right? Because now I take a step up that staircase when I'm with you. They take another step when they're with the other guy. They take another step with the next guy, and then you get reps on top. right? So the player's got the reps. He's in charge of the reps, right? All on the player. The player's not getting shots up, he don't shoot. He don't make shots, right? End of story. But at the end of the day, if all the trainers, all the coaches aren't on the same page, you don't win the game.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Win the game is to get the player better. Now, right? Our game is to get the player better. It's not to go hit a game-winning shot. Like, that's their job. But our game is to go work with everybody that touches them in the gym. Everybody. Because if you're not working with everybody that's touching them in the gym, you're not getting them as best as you can. And that's obviously not every situation. Right? We're not working with every single coach that's working with every single player we work out with. We touch a lot of, we work with a lot of kids. We touch on a lot of different things during the week, right? But at the end of the day, for your highest level, for your guys that are playing significant minutes, significant roles, you probably should be, because you might be leaving something on the table, right? Maybe the coach wants them to do something that they don't know and you don't know, right? So you could be collaborating with the player, with the parents, with the AAU coach, and all that kind of stuff. And then they get to high school, and they switch positions, right? Because one guy transferred out, you don't even know.
So how much of that is actually developing, and how much of that is actually unlocking what that player already has? Because you gotta talk me on to the other side. Because now I was kind of with you at first. Now I'm thinking, and I'm like, all right, well that's Myers Leonard. Maybe he already had that already inside of him. So how much of that, and I know 90% of what we do here in training is really identifying a player's mental capacity and really getting them to be able to unlock those barriers, whatever barriers that they put up in their mental block. But how much of that is actually unlocking what they already have, or showing them a new skill?
I would say it kind of depends on the player.
Okay.
You know, like what's your priority at? You know, like is it a kid, like we were just talking about a kid earlier that doesn't work as hard as he probably could, right? So that would be more of an unlock situation for me, because I don't think he lacks talent, like per se. Like he probably lacks his skill set as much as he could have because he hasn't worked as hard, right? But if we're talking about whether it's unlock or teach, I think it's more of a buy into the strengths that they have now, because that'll be, like, let's say I could unlock something in a shorter amount of time in teaching you something, right? Like I would want to go into that if that's something that's going to help you soon, you know? Like, because if that's going to help you immediately, now we can get your confidence up a little bit. Maybe now you play a little bit more minutes, right? And then you get more development naturally. But then you look better, you know, let's say it's a sophomore in high school, and they just start killing off the triple threat catch, right? Like they fly off the ball, they're flying around off the ball like Rip Hamilton. As soon as they catch it, they're a threat to shoot. Maybe they're not the best shooter, right? But now you just set yourself up for offense. You know, like, all right, if I'm ready on the catch, I worked really hard off the ball, you know, did this, that, and the third, and then let's say your foundation would be, I got to really make those feet coming off the screen efficient, right? Like I really got to knock down the footwork, because that'll make them ready on the catch. And as soon as they're ready on the catch, it forces the bad closeout. Now you got them in a situation, the defender in a situation is favorable for them. So that'd be like an example of just me just looking at a guy and just saying, all right, well, short term, like I think this would really, really help you. And then while we do that, we'll start working on some things in the background too to kind of unlock or
That's real.
to tap into
That's
what
real.
you're doing.
It's like what you just hit on a point, like operating off a triple threat as a sophomore. You probably learned that in 6th, 7th grade, probably earlier than that.
Right.
And that work is now just starting to manifest itself as a sophomore. And it could be a number of different things. It could be the off-season work you put in. It could be just the confidence that you develop with puberty and all other things in your life, whatever the case may be. So it's interesting to have put that solid foundation in.
And I would even say, like, if you had a guy that's really good in the triple threat, let's say he's great, he's playing off the triple threat, he's got a few reads off of it. As a trainer, what if you were like, you know what, like he's already killing it here. What if I gave him 2 extra moves in his back? And that's it. Just off the triple threat, right? And now he's got whatever he had, and now he knows, because he's got somebody else in his corner, like, yo, if you just did this, that, and the third, right? Like if you just did a rip through with a toe tap into your jab instead, right? Now you get, maybe you get him to drop his hip. Maybe you get a different read, or maybe you got just one extra, right? Or let's say he loves a catch and a low rip. You know, you can give him a few counters off that, right? And that would be, I would say, like your version of like an unlock. You know, like I'm already taking what this guy can do and just giving him a few extra things. We're like, all right, he does this well, but he takes 2 extra steps when he does it. So if he got rid of them 2 steps, now he's 2 steps quicker, right? 2 steps on offense. I mean, that's a backbreaker if you're a defensive player.
Absolutely.
So
That's why, and if you want to skip to the next topic, but that's why I want to leave it. That's why I was thinking about it as you two were talking about unlocking and developing a skill, right? And we see the lines get skewed, especially when we try to give more than one credit to one party. Again, we just had the conversation. Who gets more credit, trainer or player? And it's a good conversation to have. But as you two were talking, I'm thinking to myself, like, can it just be a match made in heaven? Can it just be that I'm right for what you want to do? Clear example,
Exactly.
because you gave the example of Meisner and Drew Hammond. Now we have who was it more, Brady or Belichick? And it's like, why couldn't it just be they needed each other to succeed?
right.
Because a lot of times, again, it's not just those 2 people. It's maybe he does what he needs to do best for that team.
Mm-hmm.
And implementing different parts, you're gonna mess up the apple cart. So now that's why I'm kind of like, does it have to be one or the other? Or can it just be us? We just both work together really, really well. We see it with
This only happens in success stories, though.
only right.
Because
Only
you ever
success stories.
notice when a guy fall off the wagon and he's no
That's what I'm
good,
talking about.
he getting trash, he's not successful.
Right.
Nobody's saying, yo, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying they as far away from him as he possibly could.
Yep.
They pointing out his deficiencies. Well, he didn't work hard enough. This, that, and the third. So it's interesting. This is an interesting business, just in general, just the training business as a whole. Just because you have there's hundreds of us in Burlington County, let alone thousands, tens of thousands of us across the nation.
You got kids from Delaware, bro.
Yeah. So it's definitely interesting. What's you guys feeling on pickup games, full court runs? Are they effective in development?
You want to take it? I'm gonna take it.
But I mean, you already know my thoughts on it, so you can start it off.
I believe after the right development, after the proper skill development, I should say, pickup games are useful because it gives you different looks. It can enhance your IQ, and it also teaches you to play with other people. Not only that, but you may work on something that you want to use in the pickup game, and now you got somebody on your team that is a primary ball handler. So now, how are you going to operate within that? Like, are you going to move on the ball? Are you going to play better on defense? Like, it's more than just scoring and seeing different reads. It's the entire game itself, especially if you're playing with other talented players and players that know the game.
Now, listen, I'm not gonna let you have the status quo answer, man. Listen, because there's guys out here. No, seriously, there's guys out here that they say that playing pickup is more crucial to a player's development than actual training. So if you had to pick one or the other, training or pickup games, which one you picking and why?
They both go hand in hand.
Nah, you gotta have one.
They both
Which
go
one?
hand in hand. I can't.
So
I
not to
can't do
cut
that.
you off, right? But what of the benefits that you just listed could I not receive in a 3-on-3 setting, in a training setting?
You won't know what to do in that setting unless you train. But if you get in that setting and don't know what to,
I'm just saying, like you say, the benefits of pickup, though, right? Like the benefits of pickup were always like, but what would you not like? What do you get out of 5-on-5 that you don't get out of 3-on-3? Because you still have to move off the ball, you still get actions, right? You still have reads that you have to make, things like that.
Because in a 3-on-3, you may not get a zone. In a 3-on-3, you may not get.
How many
double team,
times you go to
yeah.
you get some runs in? You like let's set up the 2-3.
No, I'm not.
Like
Yeah, I'm not. No. I'm just saying. And
But a zone,
in
on a zone, from a skill set point, how does skill training impact whether you play zone or man? Are we talking like game training? What we
We're
talking
showing-
about?
Yeah, game training and showing reads, right? For example, this is what I'm saying. It's important. Like we both do skill and game enhancement training. Usually, when we want the player to really amp it up, we say, all right, you can do it in front of the public defender. You can do it in front of the chair. Now do it against me. Now do it against this player, X, Y, and Z. So that's why I'm saying it's important because you can make a layup after a cross jab or whatever the case is, but can you do it when the defense is there? Can you hit a floater over a 6'4" guy? Can you do these things? And that's why playing pickup to me is so important. Not more important than.
Because I'm saying, look, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying if this comes down to man, zone, schematics and stuff like that, that's not my job. As a trainer, that's not my job. That's your coach's job to get you ready for that.
Right, we're a team. We're a team, and we got all different roles. Like our role is to help with this, and it's not that we can't help with man and zone schematics, right? But at the end of the day, is there somebody that's more equipped that sees you on a regular basis that can help you with that? I mean,
like I'm saying, my job is to give you certain tools, right? I'm gonna put tools in your toolbox. This is what I'm giving you. This is what I'm equipping you with, right? Now it's your coach's responsibility to say, all right, this is what this player has, but the coach is looking at it on the grand scheme of things because he got 10, 11, 12 other guys or girls on his roster that he has to incorporate into his formula. So he might not want the hammer, the screwdriver, and the wrench. He might just want the wrench from you. You know what I mean? And you got to be able to do that wrench well. You got to be able to use that wrench well, or you're not going to fit in that particular system.
And then when you go to a different job, you got the hammer now too. Now you're ready for both.
Right. But you don't know how to do it unless you're in a situation. It's like I 100% understand what y'all are saying. I'm just saying, okay, I'll leave it like this. They say experience is the best teacher, right? Mm-hmm. That's all. That's more so what I'm saying. Like I can show you so many things, but eventually you're going to have to apply it in the situation I'm showing you, and to a different situation. You brought up the cross step you were showing the other day. Cross step, right? Now you're saying he's not mastering it at this point, so you may not move on until he gets it. He can't apply it in a game setting because he can't do it here, right? Now, what if he gets in a game setting and he doesn't do it in that fashion, but he does a certain portion of it to get by his man? That goes to what you're saying about I'm giving you the tool. It's your job to go out there and do it. But in a game setting, he may not see that same exact read. But now he knows how to, like, with just the reps and training. Now he knows, all right, I can bust it out here. And that's more so what I'm saying. Like I enjoy knowing that you can apply it in a game and not just in the gym with you and I and a few other
But are you applying that in the game because you played pickup all summer, or are you applying that in the game because you were able to execute that in practice?
But pickup is where you work on it. Like pickup and practice is where you work on it in the game. Because if you can't
I
show
disagree with you, right? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because if I'm at the park, I'm playing 5-on-5, or if I'm at LA Fitness and I'm playing 5-on-5, how many times are you really working on your skill development?
And how many times are you in a situation that fosters that too?
Correct.
Because that's really what you would need to be able to be confident with it on a consistent basis. Because that's all, I mean, like really as a trainer, that's the word I say the most, is consistent. Because like if you can do it once, great. Like what do we say when we do shooting drills? Right, like if I'm shooting against people, great. Like y'all gonna hit some shots, but are you a shooter? Are you gonna knock down these shots? Right, like if we're doing a shooting drill, I feel pretty confident because I'm a shooter. So if I'm not playing somebody as a shooter, then what's the deal? Right, like you gotta be confident and consistent in the results.
So when these players get in games, I'm not gonna say stuff. I'm gonna just say like let's say Dame, right? Do we think Dame just came in a game and started hitting 30, 40 footers? He most likely showed that in practice, and his coaches now trust him to make that shot.
Right, but so this is why
that's what I'm saying. Like
this
you can't
is
just
why.
go in a game and
But you just said practice.
But
Right.
Practice and pickup is different.
See, like that's why honestly, like I don't think pickup gets you better at all.
It does.
I genuinely don't think pickup gets you better. Like 5-on-5 is unnecessary.
Why? It's the
but
game you're gonna see.
Hear me out. Like, look, I'm gonna take the cross step example and the Dame example, right? If I'm teaching a cross step into a 40-footer or a 35-footer, right, for Damian Lillard, right? As his trainer, I not only have to know that he can nail the cross step individually on its own, and also nail the 35-footer on a consistent shot, form-driven basis, right? So he's got great form, great, right? So that's already knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
I teach him the cross step, right? Let's say he doesn't know it, right? Now we add that to his bag, right? So if he can do it just by himself, right? Now we start ramping it up. We start speeding it up. We'll go 1-on-0. Maybe we do it against the pop-up, right? After that's good, we do it against 1-on-1, right? If he can do it against me, great. I'm not in the NBA, right? So now you're relatively confident in the fact that you can do it against a live defender. Maybe we give him a better defender, right? Maybe we give him a 1-on-2 scenario, right? The way I like to do it a lot of times is we'll do a 1-on-2 or a 2-on-2 or a 3-on-3, and you have to play out of an action, right? So if it's a 1-on-2, great. You got to get a cross step in somewhere, right? If it's a 2-on-2, maybe we play off a ball screen and you have two reads. One is a pullback off of a cross step, and one is just turn the corner and go, right? So the defender doesn't know which one you're doing. You get a chance to work on both, right? Not the cross step and then the counter off the cross step, right? Because I'm teaching that with the cross step. I'm not just teaching you one, like I'm not just giving you one bit for the drill, right? I'm giving you the drill with all the bits. I'm giving you the counters too.
Yeah.
So I can give you the cross step, right, with the counter, and then have you hit one of them in a 2-on-2 scenario, playing out of a ball screen. So that's a game situation. It's a live read. You still get the same reps. You get a game speed rep, right? And now you definitely know you're going to get this cross step in at least X amount of times. Like let's say we do the drill 25 times, you got it in at least, let's say 12 times, right? Because now you got all these different reads in, right? So if I did that drill in the same amount of time that a game was being played in pickup, how many times can I run through that same exact scenario in the same exact drill? A ton, you know what I mean? So now I got all these reps in, really strengthening the cross step into the options, right? Into either the shot or the counter or the go off the cross step, right? So
Okay.
if I got all of those in at game speed, now I can go put him in the 3-on-3, right? If he can get in the 3-on-3, right now what happens is he's got an extra help defender, right? I believe in 3-on-3 way more than 5-on-5 because so hear me out, right? If you make the correct read in 3-on-3, you will almost always get a wide open shot. So it reinforces good game habits, right? So if the help steps in, what happens? You drop the ball off, you hit the open man.
But the floor is completely open in 3-on-3. More
Exactly.
times than not,
So it makes the
3-on-3
reads
is
easy to
not-
make. So then when you see him in 5-on-5, right, the
Now, when you
pockets
get to
might
the
be as big, the pockets might not be as big, but if the help defender's there, you know somebody's open because now in 3-on-3, the whole time you played 3-on-3, the second you saw help, the most obvious choice is, I gotta get the ball to the open man, right? But in a game, if you got help in the middle, what's the same choice? Get the ball to the open man. You already did your job. You drove, you got two guys open, right?
More
Like,
times
because
than not.
as a basketball player, you need to hit the open man. If you ain't hitting the open man, you're sitting over there on the bench. Straight up, right?
More times than not in a 3-on-3, do you see people posting up, they're staying in the paint, or is everybody on the corner?
So my thing is, don't allow it.
Okay,
So
that's
that's
what
why.
I'm saying.
So like, why would you allow
So to sit in the
when
paint
we
and say-
just worked on, like, let's say I just worked on cross steps into a go or a shot up top, right? You have to start in an action up top that's a ball screen, for example. You have to start in a pin down. You have to get a cross step.
Okay,
If you
that's different.
turn the
than
ball
I'm thinking
over.
about. Okay, that's
Right?
what I'm thinking about.
Because
Okay.
now it's like, okay, I have to go get a rep in. If I don't get a rep in, turnover, done. Now the other team got the ball. Now I gotta go play defense.
I'm
Right?
thinking you're
So
just saying.
Now I got game situations at the wazoo, constantly, consistently, right? And now whether you mess it up or not, great. You still got the opportunity to blow by. You still got the opportunity to work on it, right? Like all that kind of good stuff. But now I don't have to play 5-on-5. I don't have to go get up and down. I'm not getting fatigued reps, right? It's all
But
good.
that's part of the game.
And I believe that. But if you're getting a fatigued rep and it's a crap rep, is that a good thing?
You're
Or-
gonna have fatigue up in the game.
Right, but if it's a fatigued rep in a training setting, I can sit here, stop, time out. You gotta X, Y, and Z. You gotta fix this up. Because even on a fatigue, let's say you're shooting fatigued, right? If I go from, I have good form, I feel like I have pretty solid form. Fresh, I'm pretty solid, right? I'm knocking them down. Once I start getting tired and my form sucks, am I gonna miss shots? Yeah. So if I can get tired and keep my form, right? That's something else. So as a guy, like let's say I'm teaching a shooter or I'm training a shooter, I have to get him tired to then get him to fatigue reps to then really badger him about his form, right? And really badger him about being consistent when he's tired, right? Because if he's not, right? Let's say there's 6 seconds left on the clock, you're down by 2, you're the shooter, right? You get the ball, you put up some shot, you don't follow through. Are you really a shooter?
I mean,
That's my question. But that's my question. It's like, are you truly the shooter? Because to me, I would say like, yeah, you might have the role, you might have that in your mind. But did you do everything that a shooter would have done? Did you get a consistent, good, efficient?
A lot of good shooters don't always follow through.
Right, but all the best shooters do.
Not all the time. Maybe most of the time.
Most of the time. So I want to nail that down as often as I can. Because if you
watch
watch Klay Thompson, he's following through. If you watch Ray Allen, he follows through. You watch
I've also seen Steph just throw the ball. I've also seen that, and again, it's an anomaly.
And how many times do you see?
Don't practice that. I'm not saying practice.
How many 16-year-olds do you see do that? Steph Curry's the best shooter in the world.
Yeah.
Right. Like when I can do that sometimes. Yeah, I'm gonna hit him. That don't mean it's a good shot.
I think pickup only reinforces your habits.
Right.
So if you got bad habits and you haven't been training and getting those live reads, the goal of pickup is to win and stay on. So you always just going to revert back to what you know. Again, you out there with your peers, you out there playing with 4 other guys, they trying to stay on as well. So the pressure's on. I gotta do what I do best. Whatever that may be. And that may be bad habits. You might be out there doing bad habits that only apply to pickup games. Because I've seen guys that have been phenomenal, lights out in pickup. You can't put them in an organized game setting.
But how do you get to the game setting? Like that's what I'm saying with the progression. Like one comes before the other. In order to get into the practice, you got to make the team. You're not making a team if you're not practicing 5-on-5. That is a fact.
But you're not playing well in 5-on-5 if you're not able to play well 1-on-1 or 2-on-2 or 3-on-3.
It's a progression. That's what I'm saying. It's a progression. You train, you play pickup to get used to what you're going to be seeing. Not in an organized setting, but just to get used to playing with other bodies. Try out, practice, game. That's the order to me, at least.
My man Cliff Dillon, dude I grew up with, he passed away. Rest in peace, Cliff. Oh my, phenomenal. Street ball, we go to any court. Street ball, straight killer. We 14, playing with grown men. This dude is a straight killer.
Yeah.
Bro, could not play freshman basketball to save his life. We talking about a guy in 8th grade who dunked the ball, had handles, everything. Put him in freshman game, he could not swim to save his life. Just because he just didn't understand the game. Had no understanding of the game, he just was a player.
And do you think it can be the reverse? Do you think I can have a player who does well in a game situation, but when you wouldn't? I mean, obviously, you prefer 5-on-5. I'm just saying, I've seen it go both ways, and obviously one is more important than the other. I'm just saying, for me, I would prefer to see that order. Of course, skill development comes first. Skill development. Then to me, like you don't get onto the practice court until you play. Like you have to play and feel confident in your ability before you try to make a read or do this, that, and the third and try out or practice. And that comes from playing with other people, whether that's at the LA Fitness or your local park, wherever it is.
Because if you really nail it in training,
I got questions. We see a lot of kids in here.
Yeah.
How many of them do you think is playing 5-on-5 pickups?
5-on-5 pickups? I don't know about 5-on-5 pickups, but I know if.
So what we doing?
But I know if you. But a lot of kids don't go outside as much as we used to when we were kids. That's what I'm saying.
But if they not playing pickup, why we need it? Because they successful. If they ain't playing pickup, what we need it for?
Yeah, especially with like today's game. You know, like with the situation, just a worldwide situation, you got less 5-on-5 as it is. You know, like kids still getting better. You know, and they're still gonna get better in game situations.
Like it's evolving. Like there was a time probably like when we was growing up where that's important. Like you gotta play pickup. But things evolve as they go on, and I think.
So y'all genuinely think that training is, you can train, and go and try out, and it's gonna,
Yes.
that's more effective.
100%.
Without a doubt. Because now you're using your time efficiently. Like, this is the way I think about it, right? Let's say you went to, like, how often are you going to go play pickup? Or how long are you going to go play if you play pickup? Right? Let's say you go to an open gym. How long is an open gym? Right? My average would be like 2.5 hours.
You gotta stay over.
Right? Well, okay, but just you being there is wasting time. So if you're off for an hour, right? That's one full hour that you're not training. If you're on for the 2.5 hours, right? How many good reps are you getting? How much better are you getting? Right? Like, yeah, you're gonna get better in some game scenarios. How many shots did you get up? 25? 50? Right? Like, if I'm playing and I'm really jacking, right, 2.5 hours, you probably
you're the jacking then.
Yeah.
You're getting 25, 50. Because
Right.
you're probably getting 4, 5, 6, 7 shots at max. When you think about it, whenever you playing pickup ball, even in a real live game situation, like if you playing in a game, that's not really per se getting you better, because in actuality, when you're in a game, you probably touch the ball for a total of 2 minutes out of 40.
Right, yeah.
All that's really just conditioning. You running up and down the court.
you got 10% of the ball, right? Because there's 10 guys out there, so you got 10% of the possession, right? If you're out there with 3 on 3,
Maybe.
if you're out there in 3 on 3, right? Let's say we go make it, take it, 3 on 3 out of a ball screen off the wing, right? And I start scoring off the wing, right? And I'm getting into my cross step every time. Now I got 7 reps in 2 minutes.
So
now I got the same reps that you got in maybe a game. Maybe.
So you're not against, because I think 3 on 3 is still pickup in some fashion.
But is it though? Because that's a very controlled. It's just a controlled game setting.
It's still
that's
playing against other people. So that's what I'm saying.
we're not saying
Like, are
play
y'all
against other
against
people.
the?
You
need competition.
You need live reps, for sure.
That's
need
that's
live
more so
reps.
what I'm saying.
Ain't
And
gotta
I
be
would just
pickup.
just
They gotta be full
prefer.
court 5 on 5.
But that's our argument. Is like everybody wants to get the pickup in, and like that's not where you get live reps.
5.
Right.
Full court 5 on 5.
Right. Like if you're in the gym,
I
like,
used to love going full 4, 5 on 5. Like
Cause
that
you gotta
was
have fun.
And I love
yeah,
it.
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. I'm not
that
out.
makes you really want to like
Right,
get
but
better.
what did you say? You used to love that, right? What do you do when you train now, right? Like, how much of this do you
I'm playing
love?
one.
Hold on, you
Yo,
said
like,
bring that back. What did you say? You said playing 5 on 5 made you what?
Made better. I feel like it made better.
Nah, that's not what you said. You
What I
said
said?
you wanted it made you want to get better.
Yes, I apologize. It didn't even want to get better. Yes, because if you come off, you may not get
So
back
when
on.
you wanted to get better, what did you go do?
Next topic. Next topic. These are trolleys, you know what I mean? Next time.
We'll leave it there, fellas. We're gonna do the next one. We'll have another one next week. Man. I appreciate y'all coming through. If you could, if there's a certain topic that you want to talk about, you want to hear us talk about, discuss, you want to learn more about, please feel free to comment under our YouTube page. Go follow. Again, these guys, we got Dev Coles Academy. Please follow him on Instagram, Facebook. We got Detail Academy. Just released his IG page. He's been in the cut for like
so
3 months with it hiding.
So long. I don't know why.
Please go follow his page as well. And at Davis Graham. Appreciate you guys. You guys got any parting words for the people?
I was gonna say keep working on your game. But with the last topic, yeah, just keep working on your game, everybody. Just keep trying to get better. I know it's a hard time right now with the pandemic and basketball seasons are getting postponed. But just keep working and stay committed. That's all. Just stay committed.
Yeah, man. Same here. I mean, there's a lot of guys I see, just to piggyback off that. A lot of guys I see say, I can't get in the gym. I can't do this. I can't do that. You know, there's always a way to work out. You know, all you need really is
Basketball.
is determination, consistency, a driveway, right? And you got enough for a home workout, with some ball handling plus, so just keep working on y'all game. The cream will rise to the top. The college coaches, the next level coaches see who's working, y'all will fill out your goals, if you just keep working, keep on the grind, day by day.
It's crazy because this time is really separating the real ballers from the pretenders.
Yeah.
Even in business sense, like it's separating the real trainers from the fake trainers. Like in every aspect, in every business, in every atmosphere in life, like it's separating the real from the fake.
I bet you want it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
All right.
that's super true.